Davis.
Here.
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 Here. Mr. Metcalf.
Here.
Mr. Paul.
Here.
Mr. Bill Magna.
Here.
All members of council are here and accounted for. I'd like to take this opportunity to remind everybody if they have a cell phone to please turn them off or put them in a vibrating position. With that, Mr. Davis.
Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to make a motion that we accept the minutes from October 14th, 2014, and October 21st, 2014.
Second. It's been regularly moved and seconded that the minutes of October 14th, 2014 and October 21st, 2014 be accepted as written. Roll call.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. DiLoretto.
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
Ms. Bertha.
Aye.
Mr. Metcalf.
Aye.
Mr. Paul.
Aye.
Mr. Bill Magna.
Aye.
So moved. Minutes accepted. Petitions and communications, Madam Clerk.
None.
Mr. Davis.
Yes, Your Honor. I move that the rule requiring ordinances and resolutions be read in their entirety, be suspended, and all ordinances and resolutions with the exception of resolutions number 2014-132, 2014-133, 2014-134, and 2014-135 be read by caption only.
Okay. It's been regularly moved and seconded that the rules requiring ordinances and resolutions be read in their entirety be suspended, and all ordinances and resolutions with the exception of resolution number 2014-132, resolution number 2014-133, resolution number 2014-134, and resolution number 2014-135 be read by caption only. Roll call.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. DiLoretto.
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
Ms. Bertha.
Aye.
Mr. Metcalf.
Aye.
Mr. Paul.
Aye.
Mr. Bill Magna.
Aye.
So moved, motion carried. Mr. Davis.
Yes, Your Honor, I would move that we deviate from the rules and pull forward resolution number 2014-132, resolution number 2014-133, resolution number 2014-134, and resolution number 2014-135.
Second. It's been regularly moved and seconded that we deviate from the rules and pull forward resolution number 2014-132, resolution number 2014-133, resolution number 2014-134, and resolution number 2014-135. Roll call.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. DiLoretto.
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
Ms. Bertha.
Aye.
Mr. Metcalf.
Aye.
Mr. Paul.
Aye.
Mr. Bill Magna.
Aye.
So moved, we will deviate from the rules and pull forward said resolutions. Resolution number 2014-132 by council as a whole.
Resolution number 2014-132, a resolution of commendation to Sandra Rue, whereas Sandy Rue was inducted into the Ohio Senior Olympics Hall of Fame as a member of the class of 2014, and whereas after a degree of training and skill development under the watchful eye of her coach and husband Paul, Sandy was ready to test herself against the many other competitors in her age group. With her speed and fluid running stride, Sandy was a natural on the track, capturing medals at the local and regional meets. And whereas Sandy's 2011 and 2013 NSGA meter times of 32.84 and 32.94 seconds respectively placed her in 2 slots among the top 10 fastest runners in her age group. When all had settled following the 2013 Cleveland 100-meter finals, she again stood among the top 10 fastest runners in the history of the NSGA in the 100-meter dash with a time of 15.05 seconds. Currently, she is the reigning national record holder in the 50-meter dash with a time of 8.2 seconds. And whereas Sandy has qualified at the state games held in Canton to compete in her 4th national senior games in July of 2015 at Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota, where she will compete in the 50-meter, 100-meter, and the 200-meter dash. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Steubenville, County of Jefferson, State of Ohio, Section 1, that this council does hereby express its sincere congratulations to Sandra Rue on her accomplishments and wishes her the best of luck in all her future endeavors. Section 2, that the clerk of this council shall present a certified copy of this resolution to the said Sandra Rue. And Section 3, that this resolution shall take effect and be in full force immediately upon its passage and approval by council, otherwise at the earliest period allowed by law.
Mr. Davis.
I move that resolution number 2014-132 be adopted by roll call.
Second.
It's been regularly moved and seconded that resolution number 2014-132 be adopted by roll call. Roll call?
Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. DeLoretto?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Ms. Berthold?
Aye.
Mr. Metcalf?
Aye.
Mr. Paul?
Aye.
Mr. Villagna?
Aye.
So moved. Resolution number 2014-132 duly adopted. Mr. Davis, will you please come forward? And this evening, we have the honors of having Sandy Rue. Would you please come forward?
Ready.
Sandy, it is my utmost pleasure. The golden years, right? You make them golden. You know, I met you a few years back when you started helping us with the recreation department, and it was a blessing to get your help in that. You give back to the community so much that for this council to give you this resolution is just a small portion of the gratitude that we feel for you and all that you do for us. But you deserve it, and we hope to give you more in the future. Continue running, baby.
Why did you call me and tell me? But I just want to thank the city council and all the members of the community who support me. I've gotten monetary donations from people that I didn't even expect that carried me on to my journey. And most of all, I just want to thank God, because without him, I would not be able to accomplish the things that I do. Even though my husband beats me up, and he's my husband, he makes me run fast. But I know that without God in my life, I would not be able to accomplish the things that I've done. So I want to thank each and every member of City Council for thinking about me, and especially Ken and everybody.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
We will now move on to resolution number 2014-133 by council as a whole.
Resolution number 2014-133, a resolution of commendation to Floyd Robert Gottschall. Whereas Floyd Robert Gottschall was hired by the city of Steubenville in the police department on April 4th, 1986, and whereas Robert Gottschall was promoted to sergeant on April 8th, 1998, and whereas Robert Gottschall has showed exemplary actions and the display of initiative in his job performance, and whereas Robert Gottschall not only as an exemplary employee, but has served the citizens of the city of Steubenville in a very professional and congenial attitude, and whereas Robert Gottschall has been of great help and assistance to all who have come in contact with him, and whereas Robert Gottschall is a credit not only to the city of Steubenville, but to his family, acting as a responsible person and attending to the needs of all the citizens of Steubenville. And whereas Robert Gottschall retired from the city of Steubenville on June 3rd, 2014. And whereas during his 28 years of service, Robert Gottschall was a loyal and faithful employee of the city of Steubenville and carried out his duties in an honorable fashion so as to be a credit to his profession. Now therefore be it resolved by the council of the city of Steubenville, county of Jefferson, state of Ohio, section 1, that this council does hereby express its sincere gratitude to Floyd Robert Gottschall upon a job well done as an employee of the police department for the city of Steubenville, and they, along with the entire city of Steubenville, do hereby extend its best wishes to him in all of his future endeavors. Section 2, that the clerk of this council shall present a certified copy of this resolution to the said Floyd Robert Gottschall, and Section 3, that this resolution shall take effect and be in full force immediately upon its passage and approval by council, otherwise at the earliest period allowed by law.
Mr. Bill Magna.
Yes, Mayor, I move that we put resolution number 2014-133 before this body for its passage or rejection.
Second.
It's been regularly moved and seconded that resolution number 2014-133 be adopted by roll call. Roll call?
Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. DeLoretto?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Ms. Berthold? Aye. Mr. Metcalf?
Aye.
Mr. Paul?
Aye.
Mr. Villagna?
Aye.
So moved. Resolution number 2014-133 duly adopted. Mr. Bill Magna, would you please come forward? Mr. Gottschall, please come forward.
Bobby, since
great pride, I give you this. I served with you on the police department, and it was an honor then. And now I give you back to your family. The city of Steubenville gives you back to your family, so you can get on with a normal life. You don't have to worry about getting called out and missing a lot of people. So, wish you guys the best.
I appreciate it.
Mr. Counselor, would you like to say,
Just to add a few words.
Yeah, you can, quiet.
Thank you, that's about it.
how did I know that? We will now continue on to resolution number 2014-134 by council as a whole.
Resolution number 2014-134, a resolution of commendation to John M. Lellis. Whereas John M. Lellis was hired by the city of Steubenville and the police department on May 24th, 1990, and whereas John M. Lellis has showed exemplary actions and the display of initiative in his job performance, and whereas John M. Lellis not only as an exemplary employee, but has served the city of Steubenville in a very professional and congenial attitude, and whereas John M. Lellis has been of great help and assistance to all who have come in contact with him, and whereas John M. Lellis is a credit not only to the city of Steubenville, but to his family, acting as a responsible person and attending to the needs of all the citizens of Steubenville. And whereas John M. Lellis retired from the city of Steubenville on July 21st, 2014, and whereas during his 24 years of service, John M. Lellis was a loyal and faithful employee of the city of Steubenville and carried out his duties in an honorable fashion so as to be a credit to his profession. Now therefore be it resolved by the council of the city of Steubenville, county of Jefferson, state of Ohio, Section 1, that this council does hereby express its sincere gratitude to John M. Lellis upon a job well done as an employee of the police department for the city of Steubenville, and they along with the entire city of Steubenville do hereby extend its best wishes to him in all of his future endeavors. Section 2, that the clerk of this council shall present a certified copy of this resolution to the said John M. Lellis. And Section 3, that this resolution shall take effect and be in full force immediately upon its passage and approval by council, otherwise at the earliest period allowed by law.
Mr. Bill Magna.
Yes, Mayor, I move that we put resolution number 2014-134 before this body this evening for the passage or rejection.
Second.
It's been regularly moved and second that resolution number 2014-134 be adopted by roll call. Roll call.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. DeLoretta.
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
Ms. Kurtolo. Aye. Mr. Metcalf.
Aye.
Mr. Paul.
Aye.
Mr. Villamagna.
Aye.
So moved. Resolution number 2014-134 duly adopted. Mr. Bill Magna.
Come on, please.
Come on up, John.
Jill and him.
Our sergeant at arms, that pathetic coyote.
Well, John, again, it's with honor that I give you this resolution. I worked with you also. You worked on my term under me, and you were always there whenever the bad stuff went down. So, and that's what it means when you, well, you know. So, and again, Nancy, the whole family, I know everybody. So, enjoy yourself.
Thank you.
Take care of yourself.
I want to thank everybody, Mayor, members, council. It's truly an honor and a pleasure to serve the department and the citizens of this city. Thank you very much.
We will now move on to resolution number 2014-135 by council as a whole.
Resolution number 2014-135, a resolution of commendation to John C. Stosilevich. Whereas John C. Stosilevich was hired by the city of Steubenville and the police department on September 29, 1989, and whereas John C. Stosilevich has showed exemplary actions and a display of initiative in his job performance, and whereas John C. Stosilevich not only as an exemplary employee, but has served the citizens of the city of Steubenville in a very professional and congenial attitude, and whereas John C. Stosilevich has been of great help and assistance to all who have come in contact with him, and whereas John C. Stosilevich is a credit not only to the city of Steubenville, but to his family, acting as a responsible person in in attending to the needs of all the citizens of Steubenville. Whereas John C. Stosilevich retired from the city of Steubenville on October 2nd, 2014. And whereas during his 25 years of service, John C. Stosilevich was a loyal and faithful employee of the city of Steubenville and carried out his duties in an honorable fashion so as to be a credit to his profession. Now therefore be it resolved by the council of the city of Steubenville, county of Jefferson, state of Ohio, section 1, that this council does hereby express its sincere gratitude to John C. Stosilevich upon a job well done as an employee of the police department for the city of Steubenville, and they, along with the entire city of Steubenville, do hereby extend its best wishes to him in all of his future endeavors. Section 2, that the clerk of this council shall present a certified copy of this resolution to the said John C. Stosilevich. And Section 3, that this resolution shall take effect and be in full force immediately upon its passage and approval by council, otherwise at the earliest period allowed by law.
Mr. Bill Magna.
Yes, Mayor. I'd like to put resolution number 2014-135 before this body for this evening for passing or rejection.
Second.
It's been regularly moved and second that resolution number 2014-135 be adopted by roll call. Roll call?
Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. DeLoretto?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Ms. Kirkendall?
Aye.
Mr. Metcalf?
Aye.
Mr. Paul?
Aye.
Mr. Villamagna?
Aye.
So moved. Resolution number 2014-135 duly adopted. Mr. Stosilevich was not able to be with us this evening. I do know that we have a fraternity meeting coming Saturday. We can present it then to him at that particular event. However, I do want to say that the last three resolutions honoring city employees, especially of the Steubenville Police Department, I think we can all take a moment tonight to give them all a standing ovation. Thank you. And Sandy, that's not taken away from you.
I give them all the honor.
We will now move into,
Now, if I could say one thing, I just want the public and everybody to be aware that John is not here tonight because he took a job, and he's already got another job, and he's working in Pennsylvania, so that's why he was unable to come.
thank you, Mr. Bill Magna. And we will present that to him. We will now move into the ordinances before City Council this evening, and we'll start off with ordinance number 2014-122 by the Service Committee, Mr. Metcalf, Mr. D'Arretto, Mr. Paul, for its third and final reading.
Ordinance number 2014-122, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to advertise for bids in accordance with the law for the purchase of necessary supplies for use in the service department and to provide for a contract for the purchase of said materials for the year 2015 or any part of said year through December 31st, 2015, authorizing the right to reject any and all bids, authorizing entering into contracts and payment thereof.
You heard the third and final reading of ordinance number 2014-122. Is there anyone wishing to speak on it? Please come forward, state their name and address. Not members council. Mr. D'Arretto.
Tim, I would like you to add to this list that we start some sort of weed killing program this coming summer and spring, put out for bid. I'm getting tired of being a messenger boy. We no sooner cut it, and it's cut again and again and again, and we're short-handed. So I think we need to get a program to get these weeds killed and stay killed for the rest of my time. Thank you.
Any other member of council wishing to speak on ordinance number 2014-122?
I'd like clarification on how much time he has left. Because he said that all the time.
No comment from the chair. Questions? Roll call.
Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. DeLoretto? Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Ms. Kirkendall?
Aye.
Mr. Metcalf?
Aye.
Mr. Paul?
Aye.
Mr. Villamagna?
Aye.
So moved. Ordinance number 2014-122 duly adopted. Effective date of this particular ordinance will be November 28th. Ordinance number 2014-123 by the Planning Committee, Ms. Goodall, Mr. Davis, Mr. Johnson, for its second reading.
Ordinance number 2014-123, an ordinance amending ordinance number 1992-20 as amended, the zoning ordinance of the city of Steubenville, Ohio by rezoning property owned by House of Faith in 2017 Sunset Properties located at 1907 Estelle Avenue and 1913 Estelle Avenue, Steubenville, Ohio, from R1 Low Density Residential District to B2 Community Commercial District.
You heard the second reading of ordinance number 2014-123. The third and final reading at City Council will be on December 9th. However, there will be a public hearing held by the Steubenville Planning and Zoning Commission scheduled for December 1st. Ordinance number 2014-126 by the Building and Grounds Committee, Ms. Goodall, Mr. Paul, Mr. Johnson, for its second reading.
Ordinance number 2014-126, an ordinance granting a sign easement from the city of Steubenville to Fort Steuben Corporation LLC.
You heard the second reading of ordinance number 2014-126. The third and final reading before City Council will be on November 11th. I stand corrected. I mentioned that the third and final reading of ordinance number 2014-126 will be on November 11th. That is Veterans Day. City Council will opt to move that to November 10th. So the third and final reading will be scheduled for November 10th. Moving on to ordinance number 2014-127 by the Planning Committee, Ms. Goodall, Mr. Davis, Mr. Johnson, for a second reading.
Ordinance number 2014-127, an ordinance amending chapter 1175 of the zoning code, creating the Alexander Manor Neighborhood Conservation District.
You heard the second reading of ordinance number 2014-127. The third and final reading before City Council will be on December 9th. There will be a public hearing by the Steubenville Planning and Zoning Commission held on December 1st. Resolution number 2014-128 by the council as a whole.
Resolution number 2014-128, a resolution of support for the improvement of the intersection of State Route 7 and University Boulevard as a continuous flow intersection to improve access to the Veterans Memorial Bridge. ODOT project number JEF 7-17.29, city project number 2010-107.
Mr. Maycock.
Yes, Your Honor, I make a motion that resolution number 2014-128 be adopted by roll call.
Second.
It's already moved and second that resolution number 2014-128 be adopted by roll call. Roll call.
Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. DiLoretto?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Ms. Kurtolo? Aye. Mr. Metcalf?
Aye.
Mr. Paul?
Aye.
Mr. Bill Magna?
Aye.
So moved. Resolution number 2014-128 duly adopted. Resolution number 2014-129 by council as a whole.
Resolution number 2014-129, a resolution of support for the replacement of the Lawson Avenue Bridge and all approaches which carries traffic over State Route 43, ODOT project number JEF-43-00.90, city project number 2012-155.
Mr. Metcalf.
Yes, Your Honor, I make a resolution that, or make a motion, one day. The resolution number 2014-129 be adopted by roll call.
Second.
It's been regularly moved and second that resolution number 2014-129 be adopted by roll call. Roll call.
Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. DiLoretto?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Ms. Kurtolo? Aye. Mr. Metcalf?
Aye.
Mr. Paul?
Aye.
Mr. Bill Magna?
Aye.
So moved. Resolution number 2014-129 Ordinance number 2014-130 by the Finance Committee, Mr. Makeup, Mr. Davis, Mr. Johnson.
Ordinance number 2014-130, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to advertise for bids for hospitalization, medical surgical benefits, and major medical benefits for the officers and employees of the city of Steubenville, subject to the right to reject any and all bids, and authorizing the entering into of a contract upon approval of the lowest and best bid and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Makeup.
Yes, Your Honor, I make a motion that the rule requiring the ordinance be read on 3 separate occasions be suspended. Ordinance number 2014-130, given a second, third reading this evening for its body's passage or rejection.
Second.
It's been regularly moved and second that the rules requiring the ordinance be read on 3 separate pages be suspended, and ordinance number 2014-130 be given its second and third reading for its body's passage or rejection. Roll call.
Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. DiLoretto?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Ms. Kurtolo? Aye. Mr. Metcalf?
Aye.
Mr. Paul?
Aye.
Mr. Villamagna?
Mr. Bill.
Mayor, this, the reason why we're doing emergency is because the first of the year's coming up, we won't have time to get everything straightened out. We're trying to get the insurance for the first of the year, is that correct?
Correct.
That is correct. Thank you. Aye.
So moved, rules suspended. Ordinance number 2014-130.
Ordinance number 2014-130, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to advertise for bids for hospitalization, medical surgical benefits, and major medical benefits for the officers and employees of the city of Steubenville, subject to the right to reject any and all bids, and authorizing the entering into of a contract upon approval of the lowest and best bid, and declaring an emergency.
You heard the reading of ordinance number 2014-130. Is there anyone wishing to speak on it? Please come forward, state your name and address. No, members of council? Mr. Maycap.
Yes, Your Honor, just to add on to what Mr. Villamagna said, we do have an insurance broker who is working with the city to go out and get these bids for competitive health insurance rates. So Stacy will be working with our broker and report back to us as soon as they have information. Thank you, Your Honor.
And I might add that the Healthcare Containment Committee, which consists of the finance director, the city manager, and a representative of the ASME union, the FOP, and the firefighters are engaged in the process also.
Question?
Roll call.
Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. DiLoretto?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Ms. Kurtolo? Aye. Mr. Metcalf?
Aye.
Mr. Paul?
Aye.
Mr. Villamagna?
Aye.
So moved. Ordinance number 2014-130 duly adopted. Ordinance number 2014-131 by the Finance Committee, Mr. Makeup, Mr. Davis, Mr. Johnson.
Ordinance number 2014-131, an ordinance amending ordinance number 2014-75, the existing table of organization of the city of Steubenville and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Metcalf.
Mr. Davis.
Oh, Mr. Davis.
Yes, Your Honor. I move that the rule requiring an ordinance to be read in 3 separate occasions be suspended, and that ordinance number 2014-131 be given a second and third reading this evening for this body's passage and rejection.
Second.
It's been regularly moved and seconded that the rules governing ordinance be read on 3 separate occasions be suspended, and ordinance number 2014-131 be given its second and third reading for its body's passage or rejection. Roll call.
Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. DiLoretto?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Ms. Kurtolo? Aye. Mr. Metcalf?
Aye.
Mr. Paul?
Aye.
Mr. Villamagna?
Mayor, could give a brief explanation?
As it was explained in the committee meeting last week, there's changes within the Parks and Recreation because of the winter coming up and the work that needs to be done. I think the chairman of the committee could give a further explanation.
Yes, Your Honor. We are just trying to move around some job titles, basically, so that we can hire another person to get a maintenance 2 worker to help in the Park and Recreation Department, basically. That's what
Right. And it will also reflect in the table of organization our summer youth for the food program. We're reducing the amount of supervisors and sites that we have, and that's reflected. Mr. DiLoretto.
Kenny Hill, we're still.
Aye.
I'm sorry. I can't see it. We're still gonna have 3 full-time people working in the Parks and Recreation, correct?
Yeah, I could just add to it if you don't mind. What the main change was there was an MW3, I believe, on the TO. We didn't need an MW3 in the city. This was a cost savings move, so we switched that position from MW3 to an MW2 to more reflect the needs of what Mary Beth actually needed in that department. And that change was needed now because of those MW2s will be plowing for the winter. And she needed to get her TO organized also to accurately reflect what the current situation was. There were a couple of positions on there, I think what they're referring to is summer food, that weren't on there or were on there and weren't really accurately what was going on.
We'll still have 3 removed.
Yes, there's no major changes, there's no loss of jobs or gaining of jobs, it's just accurately
Yeah, I'll help
reflecting
you, yeah.
what's going on now.
Thank you.
There will be a small
Yeah.
reflection of a cost savings.
And to answer your question, Mr. Di Loretto, we will have 2 maintenance 2 workers in the park department now. Okay.
Let me just explain to the members of council that the question from Mr. Bell Magna originated on the question of the suspension of the rules, and that was perfectly in line because it was a question on why we have an emergency basis. This conversation really needs to take place after we suspend the rules, so roll call.
Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Loretto?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Ms. Kershaw? Aye. Mr. Metcalf?
Aye.
Mr. Paul?
What was that again?
Aye.
Mr. Willamagna?
Aye.
So moved, rule suspended. Ordinance number 2014-131.
Ordinance number 2014-131, an ordinance amending ordinance number 2014-75, the existing table of organization of the city of Steubenville and declaring an emergency.
You heard the reading of ordinance number 2014-131. Is there anyone wishing to speak on it? Please come forward, state their name and address. If not, members of council, now show up.
I think we're all good now.
All good.
Move on.
Question.
Roll call.
Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Di Loretto?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Ms. Kershaw? Aye. Mr. Metcalf?
Aye.
Mr. Paul?
Aye.
Mr. Willamagna?
Aye.
So moved, ordinance number 2014-131, duly adopted. That will conclude the ordinances and resolutions before City Council this evening. We will now move into the report of committees, and we'll start off with Mr. Davis.
I have nothing this evening, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Mr. Dioretto?
I just want to thank Dr. Hanning and Franciscan University. They did an excellent job cleaning up Beatty Park. They'll be back again in the spring, and I got a couple other projects going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dioretto. Mr. Johnson?
No report, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Ms. Curdall?
No committee report, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Curdall. Mr. Metcalf?
Put the microphone off. Yes, Your Honor. 3 things this evening. First of all, I'd like to make a motion that right after our regular meeting, we go into executive session, 2 reasons, real estate and personnel dealing with upcoming contract negotiations.
Second.
It's been regularly moved in second. After public forum, we move into the executive session for the purposes of real estate and negotiations. Roll call.
Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Di Loretto?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Ms. Kershaw? Aye. Mr. Metcalf?
Aye.
Mr. Paul?
Aye.
Mr. Willamagna?
Aye.
So moved. We will move into an executive session following public forum. Mr. Metcalf.
Yes, Your Honor. I just wanted to let everyone know we did have a second installment of our Economic Development Committee walk around properties in the downtown area. We did the Central Business District yesterday. The committee, along with Mr. Paul, myself, and Mr. Boland, went around in the bus, and Ms. Nam was with us, and of course we ran into Mr. Steubenville down there as well too. It was very good. We are working our way through town. The next, at some point in time, will be the south end of Steubenville. We'll get to there and then to Riverfront. So hopefully the weather will cooperate, or else we might be on the bus, like Kenny said. You got 2 miles in yesterday. You got open, and you got good exercise. Your Honor, lastly, I'd like to have from the Convention and Visitors Bureau, again, Judy Bradley, and she has a report for us, and Jerry Barilla is here as well.
Can I come through?
Sure.
Okay. 1, 3, 4, these are the reports. Yes, if you can pass them, and then we'll pass these around. These are the packets that we had put together for the Franciscan orientation welcome packets. With the information about the city and. Everybody got one?
Thank you.
Some extras if anybody. So what I presented is basically the third quarter report of what we've been doing. Most of our work, of course, is done at the beginning of the year when we get our advertising out and promotions and so this is the follow-up, third quarter. We are, as you can see, we have a lot of brochures, information we give out. We keep these also at the visitor center, so when people come into town, we can give that to them, as well as phone books and Chamber of Commerce directory. So we have a lot of opportunities for people to find out what's going on in our community. We also, I assume you all get our email updates. We send those out. And we sent out, how many did we send out? We sent out an awful lot of brochures this past quarter. 800 brochures get sent out this past quarter to people who requested it. We work with, we do a lot of cooperation. We work with Franciscan, Trinity, WTOB, and other businesses to help produce the Christmas parade. And we're planning the hometown celebration for next year. Christmas parade is coming along, slow but sure. I'm sure the last minute everybody will decide to jump on board.
I'm on a sleigh.
And we work with the Community Investment Plan group, Jefferson Soil and Water. We work with the county trails and greenways and the city trails and greenways. We'll be going next week to advertising marketing, Ohio's, Northeast Ohio. There's also our Ohio's Appalachian County, and there's also, was working on it today. Also the Ohio River Scenic Byway. These are all different ways that we promote our area while also doing things within the city. Any questions?
Judy, if you don't mind, the parade is going to be when?
December 6th at noon.
Okay, and is there thought of restoring the light at night?
Well, we are so busy doing the parade. If some organization would like to do that, we're already, we'd be glad to help them, but we are pretty much stretched to our limit right now at the parade.
Thank you, Judy.
Judy, I just have one question. First of all, without a doubt, you, Jerry, the committee, and all doing an outstanding job. And this council and prior council made the right choice of moving the convention visitors dollars over to the Fort Steuben projecting group. The one question I have is, I know, and I see it now reflected in the expenditures, the insurance for the bus 2,220, that's, I believe, from a trolley.
That's for
that
the
we
trolley
are-
and
We are
events.
used to and accustomed to Still Valley Transit. How is that being utilized, or is it being utilized, or underutilized?
Right now, well, of course, we use it for our parade, and we have used it maybe
We used it during the hometown celebration. It was very popular. People going all over. We were just thrilled with it. And we have had several small groups do tours. We limit it to just touring the downtown. We don't, if we had to do weddings and things like that, our insurance would be $5,000. So we limited it just to tour groups, and it's available. It doesn't go up the hill too well these days, chugging along, but we do the mural tours with it.
And the reason I was asking is we do get calls in the office for wedding uses or other uses, till pirate game or whatever, and I tell them that.
Yeah, it's an insurance issue as well as it's a very old vehicle. And I don't think it could go to a Pirates game.
That was Mr. Bill O'Leary, the Still Valley Transit Director's dream of having that Charlie Moose number 17 on the front of it. Was his before he got killed in a fire.
Steel Valley Transit has been very supportive of working with us. Any other questions? Okay.
I just have a comment. Because I hear this a lot, that we got a great community, you know, and sometimes you look around and you maybe start doubting it. But that's just what makes the community great. Right here are the people that are sitting here, and the people that do the work untirelessly on their own, cutting grass, doing things, just making the town look a little bit more presentable. And I appreciate it, and I think everybody in this room does. And that's why we have a great community right
Yes,
there.
we do. And I want to thank everybody who supported our flagpole project. Now, that's, of course, the port's separate little, my other agency, but the flagpole project has been fully funded between a grant from J.C. Williams and a lot of small donations and big donations. And in Memorial Day weekend, we hope to dedicate the flag post and put up the military flag. So that's wonderful. And then the other project, which I assume people noticed, was what we did in the amphitheater. We removed the mounds, hopefully to seat more people, especially the wheelchairs, the nursing homes who come to those concerts every week. This will allow them to have more seating. So we've been busy, and as you said, we have a wonderful community. And any way we can get across to the rest of the world what a great community we have, we'll try to do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Mr. Metcalf?
That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Metcalf. We'll continue on with the report of our committees to Mr. Paul.
Yes, Your Honor, I have one. As we discussed earlier, the November 10th council meeting is moved back a day in observance in honor of Veterans Day. Also on that day at 6:30, we'll have a safety committee meeting. Did you want to include anything? Okay, so we'll have a 6:30 safety committee meeting on November 10th. Okay, that'll be our next regular scheduled meeting. And that's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
From my notes, building and grounds will meet at 6, and then 6:30 safety committee. Is that correct? The clerk, I believe, already notified, she will make sure the proper notification for November 10th. Building and grounds at 6 o'clock, 6:30 safety committee for the monthly updates. And I believe we already made the appropriate motion to move the council meeting.
We did last?
Yes. Is that all you have, Mr. Paul?
That is all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. Mr. Bill Magna.
Nothing this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Bill Magna. That will conclude the reports from the members of council. Before we move into the administrative officers, our city manager, I would like to remind everybody that the city of Steubenville will celebrate trick-or-treat night within the community on Thursday, October 30th from 5:30 to 7:30. We're asking anyone that is interested in participating and passing out candy to our residents to please have their front porch light on. I would also like to encourage everyone to wear light color clothing that is short enough to prevent any tripping or falling or reflective tape. Make sure children can see well through the face mask or the use of their makeup. Adults should accompany young children as they're trick-or-treating. Stay within your neighborhood and only visit homes you know. Watch for traffic. Only give and accept wrapped or packaged candy. Examine all candy before allowing children to eat it. Carry a flashlight and keep costume children away from the pets, costumes away from pets. I might also add that every year since I've been the mayor, I send out is there something wrong? I send out letters to all the mayors throughout the region, from Cape Hawk, Jefferson County. I encourage them to have it the same night as we do, so the children that are trick-or-treating will be able to make familiar neighborhoods rather than going outside of our community into areas that they don't know. And quite frankly, there was an overwhelming response. A lot of the communities joined the city of Steubenville in celebrating Thursday evening as trick-or-treat night. With that, talking about Veterans Day, I want to encourage all members of council to attend the Veterans Day services. This year, they have moved them to the Fort Steuben Mall, of course, on November 11th at 11 a.m. Did you have something, Mr. Paul?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, they're coming.
Did you want, okay, okay. I have nothing.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. With that, that will conclude the report from me. We will now move to our city manager, Mr. Bowling.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just a couple things I wanted to mention this evening. This past weekend, the city had a community Halloween party at the MLK Center. This was a program that our Parks and Rec Director, Mary Beth Sills, put together, and was, my understanding, a great success. Had over 300 participants, and while Mary Beth isn't here this evening, I think this is another indication of the kinds of programs that she's bringing to us and are being well received, and I certainly appreciate her efforts in doing that. A second item, also Parks and Recreation related, is the renovation of the Bellevue Clubhouse. That continues. This is phase 1A, and we'll be doing phase 1B for February. But again, I'm really pleased to report that that project is going well. It's within budget, and I think we're starting to see truly what a great asset we have in the Bellevue Clubhouse. It's really starting to look renovated. So we'll continue to keep council and the public apprised of that project, but that's also going very smoothly. The last item I wanted to mention, just if I could request if we could expand our executive session to include personnel matters, Mr. Metcalf, in our sanitation and water department. I would appreciate it.
Hearing no objections, that will be added to the executive session. We will be talking about real estate negotiations and now personnel within the water situation.
Thank you.
Hearing no objections, it will be.
Do we have to be more specific with the personnel in sanitation?
Just name the department. Just name the department.
That's all it's
Yeah,
required.
we don't have to name, we're not going to name names.
No, I know, I understand that. I thought maybe we had to say wages or discuss.
Great. Hearing no objections, and it will be added on. Is that all you have, Mr. Mr. Bowling.
That's all I have this
We
evening.
will now move on to our law director, Mr. Rapella.
I have no report, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Rapella. Once again, we want to take this opportunity to thank the department heads for attending this evening's council meeting. Mr. Davis.
Yes, Your Honor. I have two motions here to approve, for council to approve mayoral appointments due to the resignation of Ruth Casey. The mayor is requesting approval tonight for the Regional Transit Authority Board, Lydia Spragan.
You know what, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that Shirley sent them out to the members of council. Those need to be flip-flopped. Lydia goes on the library board, and Richard goes on to the, and that's the way the email went out to the members of council too.
Okay, so we'll start over again. I'd like to make a motion that this council approve the appointment of Lydia Spragan to the library, Board of Library Trustees. Give a second.
Second.
It's been regularly moved and second that Lydia Spragan of 333 South 4th Street, term to expire January 1, 2015, be appointed to the Board of Library Trustees. Roll call.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. DeLoreto.
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
Ms. Curto.
Aye.
Mr. Metcalf.
Aye.
Mr. Paul.
Aye.
Mr. Billamagna.
Aye.
So moved, motion carried. Mr. Davis.
Yes, Your Honor. Again, due to the resignation of Ruth Casey from the Regional Transit Authority Board, I would like to make a motion that this council accept the nomination of Mr. Richard Beal to fill that position to an unexpired term.
Second.
It's been regularly moved and second that Mr. Bill be appointed to the Regional Transit Authority Board, term to expire February 2016. Roll call.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. DeLoreto.
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
Ms. Curto.
Aye.
Mr. Metcalf.
Aye.
Mr. Paul.
Aye.
Mr. Billamagna.
Aye.
So moved, motion carried. Once again, I would like to thank the members of council for adopting and accepting the recommendations from my office. That will conclude the miscellaneous reports from the members' council. We will now move into public forum. Is there anyone wishing to speak to city council on city business? Please come forward, state their name and address.
My name is Ed Ford. My address is 434 Scenic Drive, 43953-3638. Point of order, with the executive session that you've scheduled for the purpose of real estate, is it not required that you specify whether it's sale or purchase of real estate?
Yes, you're right. So we should redo that. So that'll be the purchase, that'll be the sale of the real estate. Thank you, Mr. Floyd. You're welcome.
For a point of clarification, that it was called, the motion will be restated.
Okay, all right, I'm just going to read the whole.
Please do.
Okay. I'm going to make an amended motion here that council go into executive session, first off, for the purpose of sale of real estate. Second will be personnel dealing with upcoming union negotiations, and then issues of personnel also with our sanitation department and water department.
Second.
Okay.
It's been regularly moved and second that we move into an executive session for the possible sale of real estate, union negotiations, and personnel within the sanitation and water department. Roll call.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. DeLoreto.
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
Ms. Curto.
Aye.
Mr. Metcalf.
Aye.
Mr. Paul.
Aye.
Mr. Billamagna.
Aye.
So moved, motion carried. Is there anyone else wishing to speak to city council on city business? Please come forward, state their name and address.
Tony Deere, 198 Gosling Boulevard. I want to thank you for the microphones, but I want to know where's the other half of the deal where they were supposed to be. It was all one deal, microphones, recordings put on the website. That's why it costs so much.
Do you want me to answer? Okay. It can be recorded. We just haven't started the actual move to the website. We just hired a new IT administrator who started 2 weeks ago. We just
Do you
transitioned.
have any idea what I'm looking for?
I can work with our city manager and we can plan that. But right now, we just haven't been using a lot of his time for the transition.
Okay.
But we have the ability to record today.
And until then, we got you covered.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak to city council on city business? Please come forward, state your name and address.
John Massey, 0567 Great Garden. Before I get into the main reason for being here, I want to thank Mr. Di Loretto for suggesting that you fill the weeds next year. It certainly would be a major improvement in the appearance of the city. And with respect to the paving, kind enough to pave my street, Great Garden, and Linda Way, and Terry, and all those streets. Is there any way you can do this earlier in the year than to do it in the future? Because this time of year, you have the leaves that are naturally falling off the trees and blowing into the street. And to compound it, you have people who have decided, even though the street is going to be paved, that they should pile their leaves up in the street. Now, somebody's got to clean those up. If it's a city, it's the unnecessary use of manpower and equipment to do it. If it's Shelley and Sands, I'm sure there's going to be a bill submitted for extra work. Something's got to be done. I would think people would have enough sense not to do it, but they do. But the main reason I was here really dealt with the comments I read in the Herald Star tonight on the charter changes from primarily the fire department and for Mr. Davis. There were 9 of us that met over an 8-month period of time. And the fire department and the police department are upset over one proposal, that being the selection of a chief, which the committee did not expect them to not be upset about and to not be in favor of it. But if you read the paper and it was reported, the vote was 5 affirmative votes to put that as a proposal. That means that you had 4 that were either not in favor of it or abstained for personal reasons. Either way, one vote the other way, it would not be a proposal had there been one other vote. And we expected that. I have no fault with them doing that. And I respect the police and firemen. I live next door to a fireman. My secretary's married to a policeman. That's their position, and that's fine. They're entitled to their feelings, and they're entitled to go out and campaign against that proposal as much as they want, and they may prevail. And that's all well and good. They're not hurting anybody, certainly not hurting the members of the commission. We got suggestions on these changes. Some were from members of the committee. Some were from city officials. Some were from the public. And we took all of those and considered them. We had, those meetings were all open to the public. We met at the fort every week. So anyone who wanted to come could come. We sent letters to every department head in the city, to every organization that we could find in the city, soliciting input to do it. We had 2 evening meetings, one here, one at the community college. Ken, I know you were at the one at the community college. I don't remember if you were the one down here or not. But everyone had an opportunity to voice their opinion and say what they wanted to say. So your comment that you didn't have an opportunity to say something, you did have an opportunity. You could have written a letter, could have done anything. But you had the opportunity. The fire department came to our meetings, the police department came to our meetings, voiced their opinion, we listened to it all. And I already told you how the vote went on that. Now, first of all, the fire department, with respect to the choosing of the chief, at least at the present time, according to the language in their contract, it isn't going to affect them at all. Their contract says that the chief gets appointed from within the ranks. The police don't have that in their contract. If that language gets put in theirs, the police chief is hired from within the ranks. This is not mandatory. This is an option. This just opens the door to go outside if you want to do it, period. And as I said, how it gets voted for, one way or the other, it isn't going to upset anybody on that committee. That's the wishes of the people, and that's how it should be. Now, the thing that bothered me the most, I think, and the fire department made it, and Ken, you made it. The fire department is urging, and Ken is urging everybody to vote against all 13 proposals. They're opposed to one proposal. Ken, you're opposed to, I think, two, maybe more. So we're gonna throw out the baby with the bathwater. Let's vote against everything regardless of how good it is, because you don't like one or two and they don't like one or two. And that bothers me, and I'm sure it bothers the rest of the committee members who are on this thing. You know, there's some good proposals there. People all over the city, including members of this council, have been complaining about the strict requirements for the hiring of a manager. There's a proposal to loosen those requirements so that local people can be considered for that position. People follow you, we throw that out. We're not going to do that at all, no matter what. There are proposals on there, 3 specific proposals that came from your city engineer. One of which was to reduce the number of bids to advertise your contracts from 3 weeks to 2. And there were reasons for it. One, it saves you money. But number 2, his feeling was there are a lot of projects that involve state or federal funds where you have very tight guidelines to follow. This gives you an extra week to go ahead and act on. So we're following the recommendations from your very engineer in this regard. You're going to throw that out too? He had a suggestion to change the requirements for the city engineer to make it a little more technical. Same with the city building inspector. There was a requirement that isn't there now. He said needed to be in there. We took him at his word, we put it in there. We're going to throw that out? There are some good proposals that were put in that thing. They should not all be thrown down the tube because you don't like one or two. If you don't like one, vote against it, campaign against it, do whatever you want. But you don't throw out the good with bad. You keep the good, throw out the bad. And that's all I'm saying with that. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak to City Council on city business? Please come forward, state your name and address.
David Fortune, 228 Ohio Street. I was here during the JV Green Team talk this evening, and the biggest thing I have issue is the garbage pickup. There's a lot of garbage that's being picked up at residential houses. I'm talking about 4 or 5 trash cans, plus a bunch of bags every week, especially up in my neighborhood. I walk in the middle of the night. Where I'm from, you know, we had that when I was growing up as a little kid, but that changed to 2 cans. Only 2 garbage cans per household. And if you want to put another garbage can out there, you get a tag for $2. Why don't we implement that here in the city as well, to reduce the amount of trash that's being transported out of the city, and then be able to lower the cost of trash to our water bill. That would be a good thing to do, is to reduce the amount of trash that's being picked up. That'll be a lot faster picking up the trash, and you know, say you got the bags too. You got to pick up the bags. The ordinance says that it has to be in a can, but that's not being followed. And where I'm from, do you know what we do? They get tagged. It has to be in a can. If you do still same place, the garbage man will go out there saying, okay, tag it up, saying it has to be in a can. If you do it again the next week, you get fined $25 for not having it in the can. Why can't we have that? Because it's a safety issue now. A lot of animals are out there chewing it up, opening up the bags, trash is all over the place. Something needs to be done with this garbage problem. You know, reduce the amount of garbage. It's only $10 for a garbage can at Kmart. I bought 2 of them. And I live in an apartment where the landlord has to supply them, but I bought my own because I wanted my own with a lid. He didn't have this. Something should be considered because, you know, the $12 extra is going to be implemented if we don't do anything. Well, what if we reduce the amount of trash? It'll reduce the cost. Thank you.
Thank you. And just for a point of clarification, the JV Green Team, the Solid Waste Commission individuals that was here earlier for the committee meeting are interested in us adopting a solid waste to reduce what's going to the landfill, a plan. We do our own sanitation garbage pickup within the community. It's under Mr. Beard as a director of sanitation department. And conversations have been taking place at committee meetings on the amount of bags allowed, very subject of cans. I know Code Enforcement Officer Sean Scott is a big proponent of cans because animals get into the plastic bags rather easy and all. a lot of those discussions are happening on the community level. Is there anyone else wishing to speak to city council on city business? Please come forward, state their name and address.
My name is Sandy Rue. I live at 803 Longford Drive, Steubenville City. I have questions and I have a comment. On a recent visit to Atlanta, there was a fire in a department area that was owned by a private owner. And the city went after that private owner because they had not tested the fire hydrants within that complex. Here, who's responsible? Is it
The city of Steubenville is responsible
The
for
city-
the fire hydrants.
the fire hydrants, even if it's on private property? If someone owns an apartment complex and there's a fire hydrant within that complex, the city is responsible to flush those and make sure they're working, because
That is
I think they used the term
That's my
of the dry
understanding.
hydrant, and they couldn't save the building, and some of the people perished. And then, okay, so the fire, that city isn't responsible for that. Okay, my comment to retired Judge Massey. I appreciate the fact that the committee worked really, really diligently on those proposals, changes for the charter. But as I stated the last time I had an opportunity to speak here, I didn't like the way it was presented to us, because all I got were changes. And I didn't know what the changes were referring to. There were things in there that I just didn't understand. Now there's a great big thing in the Herald Star that if you go to vote, no one's going to read all that. If we would have just been given the section, told specifically what was in that section and what you wanted to change, whether it was one word, the whole paragraph, or any part of it, I would have felt like I was being treated as an intelligent citizen of the city of Steubenville. And those committee meetings, I went to some of them, and for the most part, I didn't see anything wrong with the way they were enacted, but then when it came out, it didn't sound like, it didn't look like what I heard. So I just have a problem with it, and I don't know if you need to vote everything down, but right now, I'm feeling that way, that I want to vote all 13 issues down. I'm sorry if you feel like I'm throwing the baby out with the bathwater, but sometimes you just have to make a radical cut in order to save the good tissue that's there. So I'm voting against everything because I don't think I was given enough information in the beginning when the project was sent out to us. Some of the people didn't receive them. I don't know what that was about because it came from this Board of Elections. I don't know what that is. But all I know is that I'm not satisfied with the way the commission, committee, whatever they were called, handled the distribution of information to me. Thank you.
Can I answer that, Mayor?
Is there, let's go around and get everybody's input here.
Well, it's fresh in my mind.
And then we'll you were writing down before, you can write this time. Is there anyone else wishing to speak to city council on city business? Please come forward, state their name and address. If not, we'll give JJ an opportunity to take his second shot.
At 434 City Drive, sitting here and listening to the discussion about the proposed changes in our charter, puts me in mind of a story that happened many years ago when one of our political parties was holding a meeting in town with its members, and there were two people in this meeting that held very different positions. And at some point in the evening, a fellow who probably had stopped down at one of the local establishments staggered in, sat down, listened to this discussion between these two people for a couple of minutes, and then jumped up and said, "A point of order. By God," he said, "I've listened to this discussion now. Some of my friends are for this, some of my friends are against it, and by God, I support my friends." Now, having said that, I would encourage everybody to take the time to do the research and to figure out what changes are of value. And if there are changes, because I'm not versed on when we can change this charter again. There's some time limits, aren't there, too?
No, the way it exists now, there will be if the amendments are changed
On
in
the
recommendation, but this council will pass a resolution. Would you like to answer that, Mr. Diaretta?
Yeah, 10 years.
This council could adopt a resolution and form a charter review commission at any time.
At any
the
time.
present time.
Okay.
At the present time.
But I would still encourage everybody
I
to look at these
got 10
items
years.
on a case-by-case basis rather than just voting out wholesale.
Actually, you're both right. Council could do it anytime they
I
want.
know that.
But one of the proposals is not more than every 10 years, so there is a time in there. If people didn't get the resolution or whatever they were going to get, they didn't get it because they're not registered to vote. Every registered voter in the city of Steubenville gets one mailed to them.
Or they moved.
Well,
Have that problem.
that can be a problem if the board of elections doesn't have
But
their
it's
new
just not
address.
registered.
Yeah, if they don't have their address, that's a problem. But every registered voter gets one mailed to the address that's on file with the board of elections. Now, okay, when we submitted summary simply because it was a much shorter document to read than the full text, which is section such and such, which reads, it's hereby amended to read as follows, and then you have what the change is. That long version is to be posted by law, by Board of Elections, at every polling place. So if you want to read the entire thing, you've got the ability to read the entire proposal in its entirety, what it is now and what it's proposed to be changed to. And it would just basically follow state
Better if I
statute.
got to the polls.
Pardon?
It would have been better to sit at home and read it and go to the polls. and read it.
Well-
That's all I'm saying.
It's on the city website too.
Everybody doesn't, everybody keeps talking about websites and all this reading. Everybody doesn't have access.
Well,
Here's the thing you have to
Everybody doesn't
understand.
have access to the meeting.
Sometimes the state law doesn't keep up with technology and doesn't keep up with some of the changes. And, you know, you try to follow the law, make it as easy as you can for people, but sometimes, and you're right, I mean, and I mentioned my wife tonight, absentee voters don't have that full text.
No, they don't.
Now, if it's on the website, fine, but a lot of people aren't going to take the time to look it up and try to access it. I agree with you in that respect. But unfortunately, it's the way it is, really. So the summary was there because we knew people would not sit and read that whole thing.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak to city council or city business? Please come forward, state your name and address. If not, we will
Yes,
put,
Your
oh, Mr.
Yeah,
Gomez.
I like to say. Mr. Charter, I noted sometimes, because I contacted JJ myself, and there was a question about the cap on the salary and stuff that I had. And some of it is, I don't know, I know what it was about, because I was at every meeting, and you guys started asking why I was coming to every meeting. These guys were getting tired of seeing me. But,
Never got tired.
but anyway, what you have to do is you gotta look at that charter. You gotta look at this city, and you gotta use your own head and think if there are changes that need done, then you vote for them. If you think that nothing in that charter needs done, then you vote against them. If you think that they're all bogus, then you vote against all of them. But we as citizens, myself included, because whether I'm a councilman or not, I'm still gonna live here for the rest of my life, more than likely. But you have to look around here, and if you see that change is needed, then you vote accordingly. And if you think it's not needed, then you go against it. But that's, I mean, there are some things on there that, I read 3 different things, you know what I mean? But still, if the average person pays attention, he can figure it out. You have to do that, though, for the city.
Thank you, Mr. Bill Magno. That will conclude the public forum. We will now move into the executive session. I will ask the chamber to be